Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I'm pulling a double header because of overlapping interview schedules. You know, I didn't want to mention that in the previous video that I did with Kathleen Willoit because I wanted it to be a surprise. Now today I have a special guest. But first, let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Whole world is celebrating. Whole world is celebrating night. Yes, the whole world is celebrating. And I am your host, Tommy Throwback Kovac. Now today, I will be interviewing my second interview today. My second interview is Deborah Goodrich. You may remember her. She played Deborah in Just One of the Guys. She was also in April Fool's Day. She's the girl in the bathrobe on the balcony in that movie. She was in a lot of TV shows and movies in the 80s, and I had a great conversation with her just a few minutes ago, and she was an absolute sweetheart. Very approachable, very talkative. I enjoyed talking to her a lot. She's probably one of the top 5 easiest people to talk to that I've had here on Splat from the Past. And this is my interview with Deborah Goodrich.
So, Deborah, you're doing good?
I am. I'm doing very well. Yep. I mean, not sure where I am right now. I don't know if anyone is.
I don't. What is it?
It's a small town on the coast of Rhode Island near Biscuit, Connecticut, or Newport, Rhode Island, kind of in that area.
Oh, nice. I'm over here in California, Sacramento area. I just moved here a few months ago.
Oh, do you like it?
It's really hot, and the people are kind of sketchy, but it's a nice change of pace. I'm originally from the Bay Area.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But it's such an honor to be talking to one of the cutest ladies from 80s movies.
Well, thank you. That's very kind.
You're very welcome. Last night I watched your episode of Three's a Crowd.
Oh gosh, that's so funny. I have been on a soap opera all my children, and I actually got that job 5 days after I moved to Los Angeles. That Three's a Crowd job, and it sealed the deal for me in understanding how much work there was in LA, because I thought, oh, this is something.
Yeah, back in the days when there was a lot of work in LA.
Well, yeah, I don't know what it's like now. I have a daughter who's an aspiring actress in LA, and I can't quite figure out from her experience what it's really like. But yeah, there's a tremendous amount of casting going on there.
Yeah, I'll be finding out probably next year, because I'm an actor and I'm a comedian and stuff. I'll be heading down to LA next year.
Oh, good luck.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter kind of does of these short films, these student films, which seems to be kind of a thing right now, more so than when I was in the business. There's a lot of that going on. And I don't know, some of them go to festivals, so who knows? I don't know what's going to happen for her.
Well, I wish her a lot of luck, too. I mean, she comes from great acting genes.
Thank you, that's very kind.
So is that a lot of fun, making out with Alan Campbell in the kitchen?
Oh, yeah, what a nice guy he was. He was a terrific guy. Now, what happened to him? Has he continued with acting? I sort of lost touch.
Honestly, I have not looked up his IMDb, but I should, because I'm actually kind of curious myself.
Well, it's so funny. In New York, a few months ago, at this cinema called the Alamo Draft House, there was a screening of Remote Control. closest friends and one of my daughters, and Jeff Lieberman, the director, was there. I'm coming to the point of what ever happened to someone, and so we watched the film, and I start thinking about the actor Frank Zador. I don't know if you're familiar with him. So he played my first boyfriend in that film before I left him for Kevin Dillon's character. Anyway, I was thinking, oh gosh, Frank, what a handsome guy. I don't know, maybe he didn't continue with it. I don't know what happened to him. Well, I looked him up. He has had an extraordinary career. He became a very major film producer in the 90s, producing films like There's Something About Mary and lots of other movies. Then he went on to write a series of best-selling books, reimagining the Alice in Wonderland story from this kind of fantasy level. There you go. You just never know what happens to people.
Oh, absolutely. You find out more nowadays because of the internet.
That's right. Yes, I mean, back then you could really lose touch with people, and it's interesting that you say that, because I've been reconnecting with a lot of people lately. I just had lunch with Joyce Heiser.
Oh.
From
just one of the guys?
Just one of the guys, and, it's so much easier now to reconnect and say, let's keep a little touch point with people.
Yeah.
On social media.
Sounds like she's overused trying to steal Rick.
Yes.
Now, I wanted to talk about this movie because starting at the age of 4, this was like my family's go-to movie. Like, to this day, we still know every line from that movie. We saw it on HBO like every other day. We were a very dysfunctional family. We didn't watch It's a Wonderful Life. We watched just one of the guys.
That's hilarious.
And I just love your curly 80s hair in it. And from what I can hear talking to you right now, you're such a sweet lady, and that just oozes in your performance.
Oh, thank you. Well, the hairdresser curled my hair with a curling iron every day to get that look. I have straight hair. So, he earned his money on that film. I love my hair. I know, that was really fun. We all want what we don't have with hair. That's the woman's life, So I loved having that curly hair. And it was a fun set. Everybody was so great. We shot that in Arizona, and I actually did that right after I did Breathe a Crowd. Funny story about that. I had driven my boyfriend to that audition. It was a Columbia Pictures film. I think it was on the lot, which I think was Columbia and Warner Brothers at the time in Burbank. Anyway, I drove my boyfriend at the time to audition for one of the roles, and I can't remember what role he was auditioning for.
Yeah.
When I was there, the director recognized me from All My Children, and she brought me into read spontaneously for the Deborah Goodrich part, and I got it, and my boyfriend did not get whatever part he was auditioning for. So that was kind of not so good for our relationship, but I was really glad to do that movie. Actually, he was very sweet and generous about it.
Was that boyfriend anybody famous?
There was a guy called Grant Forsberg. He did a number of movies. We actually did a pilot together. That's how we met. With Christopher Lloyd, called. What was that called? I can't remember right now. Anyway, we met doing the pilot, and then he did a number of films, and then for a few years, he was a producing partner with television. He was one of his best friends.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I talked to Tony Hudson last month, and she told me, it was a nice, fun set, and she can't believe, how many fans that she's got from this movie.
That's right, she was adorable. We stayed good friends over the years. We never lost touch, and she's still a good friend. Yeah, Tony had that spot, didn't she?
Oh, she's got that smile, and just that laid-back kind of sarcasm.
Yeah, definitely.
I get such a thrill whenever she likes one of my comments on Facebook, especially if it's not too PC.
Okay.
My favorite scene of the whole movie is when Rick humiliates Greg in front of the whole cafeteria. My dad and I just laugh when we see that scene.
Yes, that's hilarious. But that's so cool that you guys watched movies together. I actually did that with my daughters. We watched movies, and it connector, I think, for families.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I was growing up, I mean, we watched everything when I was a kid.
I ended up watching over and over with my kids, Young Frankenstein. I think that's the one we watched most.
Classic. Classic.
Yeah.
So sad to watch now that Gene Wilder has passed.
You know, we became friends in the last decade of his life. So one of the crazy projects my husband and I did was we restored the cinema in Stanford, Connecticut, a beautiful old 1939 movie house called the Avon. And Gene Wilder lived in Stanford. She had been made to go to Redner, and she had this big old farmhouse there, and when she died, she left it to him. And Gene and his wonderful wife, Karen, he's been with her for 25 years. She was just fabulous. We lived there. So we got to know each other through the Avon, and Karen and Gene would come every fall to the Avon, and Gene was a movie buff, and he would generally present about 3 movies every fall, and 2 of the films that he would talk about were not good, like classic films that he just picked, and they were always things that were a little more obscure, and then always the third film he would do, scheduled some weeks apart. The third film he would do was always one of his own, and people would fly from around the country to see him. He was loved until the end. I mean, he's still loved.
He always will be.
Very special man. Yeah, very generous man.
Mm-hmm. Very talented, very funny, and, he left behind some great work that generations will always treasure.
That's right. That's right.
And then you did April Fool's Day, which this is like one of the great quirky teen ensemble horror mystery movies with a great cast and no body count.
That's right. So, and that was my second feature, and I, for a moment, thought, oh my God, I think I'm going to have to do it with Clayton Rohner, and I love Kirk Clayton, but it was very weird that we did 2 films back-to-back together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, Rick and Deborah on this?
I know, it was very strange, but I loved working with him. And we reconnected recently because there was a screening in LA last year of that.
Mm-hmm.
With Fred Walton, and I hadn't seen him in years, the director. And then I'd seen Clayton at just one of the guys screenings before that. And he looks very handsome. I don't know if you've seen him lately. He's got silver hair and a beard, very distinguished.
Oh yeah, I tried to get an interview with him, but he never responded.
Well, sometimes we find out. You see, it took me forever to answer you, and then I thought, oh, okay, sure, I'll do that. So, be persistent.
I will. So, how did this role come about?
So, I think Fred Walton, the director, had seen, he had screened just one of the guys. This is what he told me recently, and he liked the chemistry and liked us together, so he cast us for this. It was exactly that.
Yeah, I actually was reading IMDb, and I found something very interesting. When Paramount gave the green lit for the movie, it was part of a 2-picture deal. The studio wanted to make a couple ensemble mystery movies. This was the second, and the adaptation of the board game Clue was the first.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised, but I was at the same time. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, but it's fascinating how or why movies get made. After I had kids, my first husband and I moved to France, and I transitioned to the other side of the movie business. I started reading scripts and novels for a French film studio that was looking to invest money in English language films. And then when we moved back to New York, my first husband ran Julia Roberts' production company, and I took a job at Miramax Films as a story editor, which is like a book editor at a film company, really dealing with the writing. But in my years at Miramax, I was always fascinated by, kind of the randomness of why a movie would get made or not get made, and it can, the wheel of destiny can turn on these tiny pivots, and you just absolutely don't know, really up until the moment you're shooting sometimes, if something's going to happen, or what could make it collapse if it doesn't.
Oh yeah, like just recently, I forget who told me this and what movie it was. Somebody told me that one of their most successful movies was an insurance policy for the studio. Yeah, I wish I remember who said it and which one it was. It escapes me right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, things can get developed and developed and developed, and they change writer after writer after writer, and, you know, they get muddy and lose their original sense. It's an interesting process because you do want a script to be as good and as polished as it can be. Sometimes you can overdevelop it, where it kind of just gets choppy and messy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. My favorite scene in the movie, and I'm sorry if this embarrasses you, I gotta tell you this though, is when you're in your bathrobe on the balcony opening the curtains.
And that's cleverly taped closed, so, yeah.
And we can see your belly button.
Right, and nothing else.
Yeah.
Yes, I had that taped cleverly. So, well, yeah. You know, for me, I was not comfortable with nudity, so that just was kind of a limit that I had. I know that everybody's different. I don't have any judgment in how everybody conducts their career, but that's just was my comfort zone as an actress, a young person. So, anyway, thanks for saying that.
Absolutely, and I respect that integrity, too.
Okay.
What was it like working with Tom Wilson?
Oh, he's funny. I mean, he's just funny always. Occasionally, now we have a group thread on Facebook if there's one of these screenings coming out that we all talk about who's going and who's not. And he has not actually shown up for one of them, but he always has a few stitches with what he has to say. That's the thread. He's a very funny man.
Oh, yeah, he's hilarious. I saw he did a Q&A panel at a convention about Back to the Future. It was just him, and he opened with like 10 minutes of his stand-up comedy routine where he's got his tuba and everything, and he was just making everybody just hysterically laugh. And even when he was doing the Q&A, he was making everybody laugh, telling stories and everything. It was a lot of fun.
Yep, that's Tom.
Hold on one second.
Jay Baker ended up in Tennessee, and he has a television show down there. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
I think because his cousin lives near me in Connecticut. His cousin is a very accomplished jazz musician. He's the one who told me that Jay has some kind of fun home improvement TV show. He's quite well known in Tennessee.
Oh, cool.
Check him out.
Okay. Hold on one second. Probably my favorite serial killer movie of all time is The Deliberate Stranger.
Now, that was really intense. I don't know if you know, but Ted Bundy was still alive when we did that.
Yep.
He was on death row in Florida, and the woman I ended up playing is a composite character because she was based on the woman who actually married him. The woman, if I found out in my research, she followed him. She worked with him in Seattle. She followed him all across the nation. She married him in Florida while he was on trial, and they had a daughter, which is very strange. But because she was alive, and I don't think she approved of the project, my character was kind of, softened down to be more of a composite. But that was a very intense thing to research.
Oh, I bet. And your character speaks volumes in the very last shot that you have when you're sitting in court with tears running down your face. That shows just how crazy this character was,
Right. Right. I mean, one of the things they said about him, and I think Mark Harmon is perfectly cast, was Ted Bundy was handsome and charming and likable. I think just because he was sociopath.
Yeah.
People utterly misread him. And I think she was, primary among the people who had him.
Yeah. My dad actually met Mark Harmon about 2 years later at a celebrity baseball game, and he got his autograph. He was a really nice guy, he said. Oh.
But I lost you for a minute. I got up to he met him at a celebrity baseball game, and he said...
Oh, he was a very nice guy.
Yeah. He is a very nice guy. A very nice man. I mean, I haven't seen him in years, but he was really...
He had a lot of women surrounding him, too. And I'm sure all the women in this movie, they didn't mind being pursued by him in real life.
Mark Harmon made him funny now.
everybody in it is like pretty well known and had a great career too.
Yeah, it was a very good cast.
Frederick Forrest, George Broussard, Emmett Walsh. God, so many people.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to leave the world of acting?
Well, that's a really great question. I kind of decided, and it kind of decided for me. So I got married and had a baby in 1988 and 87. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I thought I would just go right back to work after that baby. It was really kind of the big moment of my career. And as soon as I had Alexandra, my daughter, there was a writer's strike, which went all the way into the middle of 1988.
Yeah.
Essentially, it turned into like a year and a half that I took off. And I went right back to work right away. The first job I got was the Liberace movie for TV film. But it was just different. Something was different for me. I had changed. I was very focused on my child. I continued to work. I had another child, my daughter Pat, the one who's an actress now. And I just wasn't feeling the same passion or ability to kind of show up for things. It was different than in LA. I mean, LA is so large, so spread out.
Yep.
And we lived over, Los Feliz, and, having kids and, getting a call for an audition that was an hour away or go pick up scripts. This was, in the olden days before computers and stuff, so you literally have to go pick up the script. And it became kind of cumbersome in my life and what I was focusing on at the time. So my first husband and I had the opportunity to move to France. He had grown up there. And we went, and that was kind of really, it sealed the deal that I wasn't going to continue acting. And that's when I got that opportunity to work as a leader, like I said, for Canal Plus, which is a French film studio. And then when we moved back to the States, we took the job with Julia Roberts, and I went to Miramax. So it was a decision, but it was a lot of circumstances that came together to make the decision.
Mm-hmm. Well, as long as you're happy and you love what you're doing, that's all that matters.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm writing now, which has been really gratifying. I just finished a book, and I got an agent at CAA, and I'm hoping to sell the book as a book and as a film. And what did I write? I wrote a thriller of all things.
Nice.
I know. It's kind of funny.
I write screenplays. Yeah. Some of them are better than others. Some of them I need to improve. I haven't sold one yet, but I'm trying really hard to.
Well, I did it. I've written screenplays in the past that I didn't sell. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm crossing my fingers, as we both know. There are a lot of variables. So.
I'll be keeping an eye out for that book. And if you do a book signing tour, I'll be there if you come to California.
Oh, thank you so much. That's very nice. I'll look for you.
That would be awesome. Do you ever get invited to autograph signing conventions?
I do. I have been invited, and I haven't been able to go that far. So it's not something I've done.
Yeah, I'm hooked on conventions. I go to them quite often, and yeah, if I found out that you were at one in California, God, I would be there in a heartbeat.
Oh, that's really nice. I know Amy Steele goes, right? She's a good friend.
Yeah, I haven't seen her at one, but I do know she goes to them.
Yeah. And then Debbie Foreman is a good friend. She does some of these 80s, something called Meeting in the Sand.
Yeah, the 80s concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually supposed to go to the one next weekend, but I have to save my money because I'm going to LA in a few weeks.
Well, that's great. So you're actually looking to act, to write, and do stand-up yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I spent so many years of not being driven, and then about 2 years ago I had a car accident that changed everything.
That's so interesting that you say that. Isn't life amazing? So something like that changed your perspective.
It sure did. I was in a coma for 30 days.
Wow.
can't believe it myself. You are. Yeah. Some people don't believe me when I tell them. Some people look at me like I'm crazy, but no, it was pretty intense, I have to say.
Do you have any memory of being in a coma?
The only thing I can remember, the closest thing, I just remember, I was just laying there and not waking up. That's all I can remember. But when I woke up and I was under anesthesia, my mom said that I went on a little comedy tour with Robin Williams and Lucille Ball. And I don't remember saying that, but I'm sure I did.
Wow, that's amazing. No, the mind is an extraordinary thing, and the body. That, in a way, I mean, when you think about it, that there's been this serious accident, and your mind was able to go somewhere and allow your body to heal. And it really is fascinating.
Yeah, we're religious, we're Catholic, so, we believe in a higher power, and we know that, this was all a miracle.
So I believe in that too.
Mm-hmm. Are you religious?
Yes.
Are you Catholic?
I was raised Catholic. My husband is an Episcopalian, which is basically the Catholic Church without Pope and Mass, more or less.
Right.
So I consider myself either one.
Mm-hmm.
Both Francis, I think he's fabulous. Who really cares about the poor and goes back to the real tenets of what it's really all about.
Sounds like he's a keeper.
Yeah, do you like that?
Yeah. Deborah, I appreciate you so much taking the time to do this interview with me. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for calling, and I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Can I add you as a friend on Facebook?
Sure.
Awesome. God bless you, and have a great day.
All right, thank you too. Bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. Deborah Goodrich. Ain't she a sweetheart? Thank you so much, Deborah. You were, without a doubt, one of the easiest people I've ever talked to on Splat from the Past. And I wish you the best of luck. God bless you and your family. And I hope you're doing well. Now, this is all the time that we got this week on Splat from the Past. If you like this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and add me as a friend on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. Well, that's all the time that we have this week on Splat from the Past. Once again, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.